So The Gray is about a plane crash in Alaska. They work in Alaska. Liam Neeson is a hunter, sort of. He's kind of like a sniper who takes out wolves while people work on equipment. It's kind of his only job is to shoot things as in case something tries to attack people. So they're flying home. Everybody's happy and excited. The job well done. And of course the plane crashes and
in the middle of nowhere.
Middle of nowhere, and obviously it's Alaska, so nobody's going to come looking for them. So the survivors all have to walk until they find civilization again. In the meantime, a bunch of wolves have decided to kill them. So that's
They've
it.
encroached on their territory.
Yep. It's 8 people trying to walk Alaskan tundra while wolves eat them. This movie was actually surprisingly good. It's dark, acted really well. The pacing is great. I know that there's a couple old wolf books I used to read back in in your grade schools, like Call of the Wild, and then there's like 2 or 3
Hatchet. They kind of remind me a little bit of that too.
Yeah, and these things are just I loved those books as a kid, so this thing just reminded me of those. And I was like, oh yeah, awesome, taking on wolves, and they got these guys have got nothing going for them. Really, there's a couple good male bonding moments where throughout, and I don't know, it's a really good survival movie. I gave it a B. I really enjoyed it. I went into this thinking, because the previews make it look like he's gonna fist fight all these wolves with broken bottles and stuff. And luckily, the movie isn't like that. The movie is almost all just
a lot of build-up,
very build-up,
a lot of tension stuff,
a lot of realistic stuff going on in it, and it's much better. Really, really depressing. I mean, it's literally an hour and a half of watching people slowly die. That part makes I had to watch cartoons afterwards. I gotta switch to some cartoons after this. But a fantastic movie, directed by Joe Carnahan, who did Smoking Aces and A-Team, which are nothing like this movie. So,
no, not quite.
So it was nice to see that he had branched out to something else.
So you give it a B?
A B, yep.
All right. I give The Gray a B-. I think it's a really good movie, actually. And again, like you, I was surprised by it because I think Liam Neeson, somewhere along his career, around the time he did Taken, decided now that he's entering his late period of his life, he wants to be an action star. He wants to be the next Jason Statham. And I'm confused by this career turn in Liam Neeson, but I think so far in that, this has been his most promising work. And I really liked just the slow burning intensity of it all. And Joe Carnahan does a good job at building intensity while at the same time really setting a place. I mean, it's the middle of summer. I'm watching this in my room and I feel cold from the movie. It really puts you there in the dead winter, and the atmosphere is really, really palatable. I think the performances all around, it is more of an ensemble movie than the movie or the previews would lead you to believe. There are some, I wrote down some other actors. Dermot Mulroney is probably the only other real notable one. Yeah. Who kind of plays sort of the nebbishy, dweeby one of the group. And then there's a couple guys who have a lot of bravado, and they're starting fights, and who's the man, and that's what this whole thing is really about, is the questioning of masculinity between these group of men. And Carnahan co-wrote Warrior, that came out earlier this year, and so even though his directorial stuff with Smoking Aces, and then he did A-Team, which was his big studio project kind of movie, which you could argue whether or not he succeeded in that. But this is exactly the type of movie you want to see him do after he does a big studio thing like that. Is a real small, real personal kind of story with these guys. The only reason I give it the B- instead of the a higher grade is because I think ultimately it succeeds in everything that's really trying to do, but it fails to really impress beyond a first viewing. Like, I don't have to buy this movie. I really wouldn't have to see it again. I'm glad I saw it, and I like to see that Carnahan's doing good work again. But it's ultimately a little forgettable.
Yeah, not one. Definitely not one to be proud of sitting on your shelf.
Well, you might. It depends on the type of person you are. I think if you really like guy movies, it's a good one.
It's true.